The Karthus follows immediately after.
And what happened yesterday was H2K tried to bait Elements into taking a Rek'Sai and giving that Maokai over in the first rotation. Rek'Sai is still open here, so it can be the same setup for Gambit. I just don't think they're going to benefit that much from getting Rek'Sai themselves, even though she is, of course, a fantastic strong pick at the moment. Instead, cast this ban against Froggen. We can see the Z many times before against Betsy. A lot of target bans, though. Kalista against Pinoy. Okay, so Maokai Rek'Sai is open. Which one does Elements go for? I mean, I think you should go Maokai. Yeah, it's such a good pickup, but there's so many tier 2 junglers still to go for. You can go Nuno again. You can go exactly the same comp. You can go Nuno, you can go for the Jinx and the Janna, and you have a 6 setup already. Yeah,
they're really not worried about anything. There's so much that's been left open and available to them. And of course, we've been talking about this all throughout. The patch 5.5 has just made so many things available to a lot of players. Now, on Gambit's side, what do they want to go for? This is really the curious thing. We've seen a lot of interesting jungle choices. We have seen jungle choices today. I don't know if that's where they're even going to make it go.
I mean, Rek'Sai would be the obvious one for Diamond here. Also to make sure Shook doesn't take it. I'm not sure how much this Maokai pick hurts Cabochard, because he's not been played in at all. I mean, he used to be a Maokai player, like go back a year. But here in the LCS, he's only been playing for these carries here. You can go like the likes of Morgana into a Maokai. You're going to win the laning phase very easily. And you make it tough for the Maokai to engage onto your AD carry, which is a pick we have seen him play. He's undefeated on it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that one come in from Cabochard later on. But no Rek'Sai, it seems.
Ah, okay. So we're going to see a bit of a last-second switch up. It looks like that's what they're going to go for. Okay, no!
There it is.
There we go. There's the Morgana for Cabochard. There's also the Nidalee lock-in for Diamond. A lot of people have been abandoning the Nidalee, but not Gambit.
No, and look at the setup already. So you got the makings of a bit of a poke composition, where if you have Morgana and Nidalee together, if you land that binding, the spear will follow every single time. And it can be tough for Maokai, as we mentioned, to engage against the Black Shield. And if Elements are going to run the same composition as yesterday, where they have the Nuno jungle from Shook, then they're not going to rely, or they're going to 100% rely on Wickd being able to start these fights.
And you know, for Gambit's side especially, it's not only Cabochard that's had a great time on Morgana. Edward's actually played it 3 times. He's been undefeated in those games that they have, flex so this is a great flex pick for them. Betsy, while he still favors the more assassin-y flavor of mid laners, that's still technically something he could pick up. They haven't revealed much in this situation. Let's see what Elements reveal in this round of picks.
I would like this pick up a lot here from Elements. As long as they can control Nidalee early, you get a second set of engage here against the Morgana, and this now instead of just a single target snare, it's the AoE obviously coming from Sejuani ulti, making it a lot harder for Cabochard to find a target. Also, Janna takeaway prevents Gambit from doing a double protected carry composition, with also Lulu being banned.
Yes, and also Gambit still has a lot that they want to mull over here. You can see that the mid laners, the AD carries, have been like the ones that have fallen down to the last. They don't want to reveal their carries so far. We'll see what Gambit does choose to take as they still sit on the hover.
Should be the AD carry pick up here for Pinoy, and you save the last pick for Betsy.
And you take it away from Rekkles too.
Exactly. You're expecting Elements to run the Jinx again with this double tank, which we talked so much about yesterday, how it would benefit them as a team. And then you have Krepo on the disengage. So I like the takeaway here. You got at least the Morgana, but Thresh itself, I mean, you're kind of running out of peeling options. Thresh probably comes in as one of the best now with Lulu being banned. Nami could also have worked out for them, but instead they want that lantern and the box from Eddie.
Thresh Jinx is very much, you know, one of your old school, give the immobile AD carry mobility and a lot of saving options. Also, the same thing can be said for a lot of these, we could say, less tanky members of Gambit Gaming now. So we'll see what they round the comp out with. But meanwhile, Elements, they're on their last picks. They still need an AD carry and a mid laner. What do Froggen and Rekkles take?
Well, Elements can still run Tristana if they want some sort of late game. Here it's just very weak early on. Otherwise, you just swap it over. You go to the likes of a Lucian with enough protection. I mean, his late game isn't horrible. He's not a hyper carry, but he will do fine at all stages of the game. So I feel like there's quite a few options here, but that takeaway with the Jinx from Gambit was very smart. The question is just, do they have enough protection for him? And there's the Lucian.
And we get to see Kassadin back again.
Yeah,
this will be his first return from the
blind pick.
Nerf hospital.
Ooh, blind picking the Kassadin. He's still, I mean, the nerfs are now the small buff, or small buff, fairly large buff. Still made him somewhat weak compared to what he was before. I think he's a lot better now. I think he's definitely viable. I think, though, it's just risky to blind pick him. And he still has shorter range on that ulti compared to what he had before. The old Kassadin, who was so lane dominant as well.
Do you think this is to compensate for the fact that they decided to go...
Who could always survive the lane phase.
Yes, and then of course go forward. But do you think this is really just a way to kind of hedge their bets into the later stages of the game because they do put Rekkles on a much more lane dominant and less scaling champion?
I think it's because you know Gambit is running a composition that's going to focus around poking and protecting a backline. New Kassadin now, late game with 0 cooldown reduction, has 2 seconds on his ulti at rank 3. Get a bit of cooldown reduction, that obviously drops down even further, and you can dive in on a backline so easily with this Kassadin. You can dance in and out as long as you have enough mana. So basically what Elements did, they said, we know exactly what you're building on the side of Gambit here. We want a comp that is mobile, that can get to your backline every time, because there's no hard disengage here. There's a Black Shield to stop some CC. Thresh is not a hard disengage. He doesn't knock people away and
he's just going to save someone
fight.
From being caught.
Yeah, he's going to save someone. He's going to put it in the box itself, but that doesn't do a whole lot against the Kassadin. So you can see from Elements here, they adapted with the last 2 picks and say, we need enough mobility to get to your backline every time.
But on the other hand, what Gambit do have, not just in the poke department, they've got a fair amount of mixed damage. You see that they go for the double AD carry because they've already got a lot of AP between Diamond and Cabochard. But what you're totally right on here, they're lacking a massive tank. They're lacking the hard disengage. And it's going to be really tough for them if they get caught in a bad situation. Elements should be able to outtrade them in those all-ins.
In the all-ins, especially with the 2 tanks, making it so tough for Gambit in the late game to do anything. But Gambit does have the option, if they can manage to out-rotate Elements and play around the lanes and not the jungle, because you don't want to fight in the jungle with double AD carry compositions, but if you play around the lanes, if you get to that tower, you got the attack speed buff of a Nidalee, you got the Jinx already, of course, attack speed buff from Ezreal as well. Like, that's going to make the tower drop down so fast. That's how Gambit is going to play this comp.
That is how they're going to play it indeed. Now, can Elements pick up enough wins to enter the playoff contention? Why don't you guys let us know? Tweet at LOL Esports with their hashtags LWin or GMB win. We'll see what you think in the game. But for right now, the crowd is getting riled up as we get ready to wrap up week number 8. Elements and Gambit onto the Rift.
Onto the Rift. And once again, Elements running double tank on 5.5. Really looked great for them yesterday. Krepo on that Janna as well had some good roams early to defend his laners. Let's see what they can do this time around. Stronger bottom lane of Lucian Janna. That's hard to deal with for Jinx in the early stages. And Kassadin with his new walk animation that I have a hard time deciding if I like it or not. Seems very cocky.
It's a little flowy, yeah.
Like, look at me, guys, I'm back.
It just gave him a little bit more air to blow past the skirt, I would say. Not sure if I like it either, but we got a pause coming in, so we're going to have...
Maybe he's going to become the one frontline man for Gambit with his Rod of Age. It's still not enough really to be a big tank.
Oh, yes, and we are back into the game, so back to Kassadin's skirt. But meanwhile, Gambit are hiding a couple sneakily in the brush. It is Edward and Betsy. Krepo, will he check too close to the trap? Doesn't look like it for now.
No, it's just there for safety. They wanted that ward around the Grump. So as we so often see, in case it is a 2v2 lane, you want to get that information if they're starting on a camp. Gambit is invading in, warding on the Raptor, trying to spot Wickd, and he's start here with the saplings, but he's already moved over to the Wolves instead, setting up his own little sapling trap, I guess. Trying to trap these poor little wolves. They spawn, they get exploded.
Yeah, that's a very quick lifespan. It's kind of hard if you're a jungle camp on Summoner's Rift, that's for sure. We talked about the dragon, but how about the wolves?
I had Baron Nashor call me out on Twitter because I said he's going to die now, and it's how it is. I mean, he didn't like it. It's tough.
He's royalty, man. Get careful who you offend.
It's very true. So Wickd is going to start the Merc Wolves here. Going to get them down, get the instant level 2. It's going to be a lane swap from Gambit. No real surprise when you consider the Lucian Janna lane is a tricky one for Jinx to deal with. So Wickd is going to be happy with this start. No freeze from Elements in this case here. They're going to push it in instead against the Morgana, which can be tricky because Morgana is one of the best top laners at getting nearly all the farm in a lane swap, and so risky as well to dive with the binding with the Black Shield. If you get caught under that tower with the aggro, you will end up giving a kill to Gambit.
And now Gambit, just Pinoy is going to be pushing out, or rather freezing out, while you see Cabochard making his way down to the bottom. Edward actually, though, causing... Thank you for that one, Jat. Now right back into it We are going to see Edward and Diamond trying to make some life hard here for Shook by taking away his blue buff. There's a lane swap, of course. To recap things just a little bit, Pinoy's going to be soloing up in the top lane. Eddie's going to join him in a moment.
And just to quickly talk about the two compositions here. Gambit obviously running double AD carry. I guess we can go back to that one because now Wickd diving Cabochard.
Yeah, we'll come back in just a moment. Cabochard looks like he's not long for the rip, but Wickd going extremely low. That is going to be first blood picked up by Rekkles, but man, was it close for the tree.
Yeah, but a very important play from Elements here, trying to shut down Cabochard. He does have teleport ready and can always return to the lane, but to break down these comps, we got double AD carry composition from Gambit, very kite focused, very poke focused, and at the same time, you have the ability to fast push down towers because you got the attack speed buff from an Ezreal, from a Nidalee onto a Jinx, who will obviously melt these towers. So the whole goal here for Gambit is to get a global gold lead through towers in the mid game, while the likes of Froggen takes time to scale up on this Kassadin. Obviously, Elements running double tank, insanely strong late game composition. If they reach that point, that's going to be the big question here, if Gambit can shut them down or not in time.
That is indeed. So Edward now taking his place down on the bottom side. He's going to trust that Pinoy will be perfectly fine up there dealing with Wickd. We'll see how that one does go. Froggen Betsy just trading a little bit of poke, while Diamond continues to make his way through the Elements jungle and just try to keep Shook from grabbing just about anything. There we go, starting up on the Krug, smites on down. And there's no way Shook can get back there in time to grab it.
Oh, and Diamond really using Nidalee's early power here. Invading into the jungle of Elements, and also knowing that Eddie is now on the bottom side of the map together with Cabochard. So there are basically 4 members on this bot side, meaning Diamond can kind of do whatever he wants, as Sejuani can't really challenge Nidalee in the early game. So Diamond playing a bit aggressive, and I like it.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like, yeah, it's really a very safe way to do things. Speaking of safe, Pinoy, I mean, normally you don't want to leave a Jinx alone too long, but Elements aren't interested in putting too much pressure right now on Pinoy himself, and it's really just Maokai just trying to poke him away, but he's being denied a fair amount of CS compared to his top lane counterpart in the bottom.
Basically, Elements is happy leaving Wickd on his own just to get solo XP, while Cabochard is having to share with Eddie down his bottom lane here, so they're trying to get a bit of an advantage for Wickd. He's obviously behind in farm, which we very often see when you're against Morganas in the lane swap. She just sits there and puts down the pole. Last hits, I mean, very, very simple and very hard to deny here. Diamond once again in the jungle here. Will he try to dive on Froggen? He's very low. He lands a spear here. Oh,
Froggen is going to walk away from it. So meanwhile, down in the bottom, Edward could be in a bit of trouble himself. Rekkles going to dodge out the Dark Binding. They throw the Tormented Soil down, but they don't have enough left in the tank. Rekkles and Krepo are going to back off of that one. Meanwhile, Diamond continues to just take the jungle away here from Shook.
Stealing everything, still not gone back to base, sitting on that Hunter's Machete. Now he's going back. Level 5, I mean, that means really a lot of camps being cleared. 25 CS before the first pack. That is very unusual compared to what we normally see from junglers here. I mean, look at on the side of Shook, already gone back. Got the Trailblazer, got a few more wards.
Looks like Diamond will follow suit there, but he was also able to pick up the Fiendish Codex for his own. So we don't see the tier start from him. He's definitely looking to get a little bit more power now.
Yeah, Diamond's not really been a guy who liked the tier start. I've never seen him do it, at least on the likes of Nidalee. Always aiming more towards instant power in the early game, and with the way he's been playing so far, invading into the jungle here, trying to take advantage of Shook being on this Sejuani, has paid off for him. Betsy and Froggen fairly even in this mid lane. A lot of minions to be picked up here for Betsy though, so slight CS advantage, and already has that early tier stacking up for him.
And he's been able to take away quite a lot. You see him in the top, he's getting pinged out right now, so Wicked's going to know this is going to be happening if it does happen at all. And, you know, if there's any doubt, there's a little sprite able to reveal his presence.
What is that?
Diamond. I call it a sprite.
Ghost thing?
It's a wisp, maybe?
A wisp.
Yeah. Willow the Wisp.
The worst card in Hearthstone history.
Yes.
Well, Diamond, yeah, around this top lane here. It's a bit of a sidetrack.
Yeah, we're getting back to the game.
He's spotting Shook with that ward here. He can go for him, but needs to be careful because Wickd is nearby.
Yeah, oh, he's actually going to leap on in, but Wicked's right there, leaps on out after the fact. Gromp is actually helping out. You know, Diamond's on his own here. Yeah, Pinoy's not going to be able to help him at all, but Wickd, I mean, you got to wonder, though, because there's just a fair amount of damage coming out of Diamond right now, and he's just continually trying to harass and bully Elements.
Really shows how strong and confident Diamond is at this point. I mean, when your AD carry recalls right next to you and you still go for that little trade, trying to force a flash from Elements, you know you're feeling good. Again, with the early Codex straight from Magus Enchant from Diamond. No tier, no fancy slacking around. Nope. Straight to action for him.
Straight to action indeed. Now the mid lane, slight level advantage for Betsy over Froggen. Has been keeping up and up on the CS number, stacking that tier up as he goes. Continue to trade out a little bit of damage. I wonder how this one will turn out, just considering Froggen. I mean, this is very much a survive kind of lane.
Yeah.
The junglers haven't been putting a lot of pressure on it specifically. Question is, where does Gambit go from here? Rekkles and Krepo, they're perfectly content to keep this one going. The longer the game goes, the better for them.
Problem is just that Cabochard has really been able to farm a lot here. Again, denying Morgana is extremely difficult. And as you said, yeah, Elements want to go to the late game with their composition. The Kassadin, while they did get a few buffs in 5.5, the ulti especially has been buffed quite a lot. All the way down to 2 seconds cooldown now at level 16. He still needs to get to that point. He's lost some damage on his Q. Obviously still shorter range on the ulti compared to what we used to, so it is pretty difficult playing the laning phase as a Kassadin at this point, and it's all about surviving, all about picking up as much farm as possible. And you can see how Diamond and Betsy are now taking full advantage of a very passive mid lane from Elements. The Kassadin Sejuani combo is not going to make a whole lot of work early on, so they can take the buffs here. We've seen Diamond again and again invade into the jungle as well.
Yeah, he gets the Magus Enchant too, so he has that extra bit of damage. Now he actually might really quickly find out Shook, or is it Shook that finds him as he was in the middle of taking the Direwolf camp? Rekkles going to get caught up on the Darkbind. Here comes the hook in. Eddie, do they want to take this? So that's the question. Maybe not. He's taking quite a lot of damage, only level 4 on the Thresh. As we mentioned in the Champ Select too, there was the not a whole lot of tankiness on the side of Gambit. They're going to be very careful with this composition.
Oh, that's very, very true. It's a kite composition. You never really want to be caught in a straight-up team fight, because that's where the 2 big tanks from Elements and all the CC they provide is going to make life very difficult for you. Instead, it's about kiting, landing the poke, and of course pushing down towers whenever you get a chance. Jinx has that unique ability just to get a few hits off, and she'll always chunk it down. Oh yeah. Especially when you buffer with the likes of a Nidalee heal. More attack speed. So, Elements trying to stop this dragon here. Diamond starting it kind of on his own. It's 4 versus 4 on the bottom side, and Wickd has a teleport, so that dragon is not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, I think Gambit realized that, and so Diamond backing away a little bit. However, Shook was chasing him through his own jungle, just trying to grab a little bit back more for himself. Diamond, however, does secure that blue buff, and he's right back in the action. Very quick through the brush that he's able to prowl. Shook avoids taking the spear, and now it is Elements eyeballing this dragon. Oh, maybe not. Shook's going to back out.
But Diamond can do whatever he wants to around this mid lane. Froggen even went back, only bought a blasting one, so not even getting that catalyst yet. He's so weak, and now he's just recalled behind the tower. Diamond and Betsy here get quite some damage on this mid tower. Only Shook there to defend.
Oh yeah? They are indeed getting quite a lot of damage out on it, and Shook just really can't move on in. It's just trying to clear the wave, but he's taking a little bit of damage for his own trouble. This could actually go down. Not quite yet, though. The rest of the cavalry was due to arrive, and I think they take the smart path out. Meanwhile, down to the bottom, Cabochard, Eddie still giving Rekkles a little bit of a hard time on his own now.
And this back here from Froggen was simply forced onto him because he only had that blasting one from the first back timer. So clearly he's been forced back before he hit that 1200 gold mark. And therefore had to go back a second time, and Gambit took full advantage of it. Poking down these towers is going to be super important when you consider the fact there's a low amount of wave there from Elements. And if the first tower falls, then it's very easy for Gambit to rotate to the next lane and do exactly the same. Just fast push him down, punish Elements for lacking wave clear.
Yeah, they never even have to try and fight him. It's just a very objective, focused gameplay. No, there's no reason to. I mean, this is the kind of thing that Gambit can do unpredictable moves, but here we go. Elements now are pushing on the dragon itself. Here comes the true shot barrage from Betsy. That's going to come way too early, unfortunately. So they will reveal that's happening, but there's a little they can do to stop it, short of maybe a Jinx rocket coming in. No, it's intercepted by Krepo. And dragon number 1 goes over to Elements.
Alright, so again, they take advantage of the fact they have Wickd with TP in the top lane, and as you could see, Pinot is back in base. So there was finally a time for Wickd to push out the wave, not risk his own tower dying if he teleported down towards the dragon. It's a nice little setup from Elements, and I still find it super funny to watch Kassadin walk around after the change here.
Dude, he's got some new spring in his step, that's for sure.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I guess he needed it because, you know, his rift walking was a little bit rough for a while.
That's true. How do you walk like that with your arms, though? All the way out to the side.
I have absolutely no idea.
Anyway, Ezreal.
But it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Betsy, he's got a little bit of swag in his step as well, even though he hasn't been able to pick up anything on the scoreline. He's been perfectly fine at just poking down towers, taking objectives. Pinoy, meanwhile, has been doing the same to Wickd, who is having some trouble dealing with the Luke's cannon up in the top.
Yeah. Can't do a whole lot.
Join soon too.
Can't really do a whole lot on a Maokai into a Jinx here. Just a bit of a farm lane. Oh, Betsy. Well, that was a miss.
That was indeed, but he arcane shifts away, so no harm, no foul. Here comes Shook, gonna find a pink ward in the brush, so his gank plans will be foiled for the time being. Wickd still getting pushed back in the top side. It looks like Gambit might want to start taking objectives.
Eddie just joined him. This means now Pinoy can finally start pushing down that tower. He has the lantern for safety. Even Diamond is showing on the top side of the map. He is spotted by elements, but this tower should go down fairly uncontested. Simply also because Pinoy has been poking it the entire time in that lane. So notice how Gambit, they kept Cabochard on the bottom side saying, you know what? We're just going to have you farm here. We're going to take that one-on-one with Pinoy versus Maokai because we know he can get some damage on the tower. First outer turret is gone. Mid lane is fairly low. Bottom lane is, of course, on full HP, so that's going to be the last one then for Gambit to aim for.
Yep, they are going to be able to push in this middle one too. Element's just a little bit too slow to react. Down it goes. So just like clockwork, 2 towers taken out, but there's going to be an answer in the bottom. Rekkles is able to pick one up for himself. Cabochard was pushed back by himself. Wickd now could be in some trouble. Flame choppers are down. He dodges them. Still, as tanky a tree as he is, can't be careful now. Betsy is in trouble, but so is Froggen.
Whoa,
he's not going to be having a good time.
Outplays.
Oh, and Betsy just avoids all the damage there as he gets out. Wickd now in some trouble himself, with the Vengeful Maelstrom on, trying to deter any further pushing. But Gambit, they've got another wave at their back, and they've got some defense here, some backup. Let's see if they use it.
You can see how Froggen was trying to bait this one, so he jumped in on Betsy, hoping that Shook would come in, obviously from the flank, but simply didn't happen. The rest of Gambit were nearby, and Betsy dancing around here. Quick on his feet, and Wickd is in trouble.
Oh no, oh no, the rocket comes in. Krepo couldn't save him with the monsoon, and they can't save the tower either. 3 towers gone. They didn't take the bottom, but they managed to get 2 in the top, 1 in the middle. Elements, they're starting to lose out on some serious gold here, and Gambit are kicking up the heat. 3
very quick towers for them. Showing what you can do when you have a Jinx and you give all this attack speed from an Ezreal, from a Nidalee. You destroy the towers super easily.
Yeah, Gambit have been able to group up for these objectives quite quickly, and the problem for Elements here is they're starting to run out of towers. Maybe not on the bottom side, but if they keep moving around like that, Gambit are in a good position to grab a serious gold lead in this game.
Not a whole lot Elements can do to stop them right now, at least from pushing in. You have the Lucian now swap to the top side. We see even the early attack speed boots being built for Rekkles. So really aiming to just fast push down these lanes. See if he can respond with the tower himself. It's only Krepo and him on the top side. Meanwhile, Gambit, you see if Pinoy is putting the focus on the bottom lane to do. Pushing 2 different lanes at once at least here. Gambit and Elements.
Yes, indeed. Now, Rekkles is going to try to push up on the top. And meanwhile, Pinoy's going on the bottom. Looks like we might be in for a tower trade, but Pinoy should be the one to get this a little bit quicker. Maybe at about the same time, as he had a little bit of help from Krepo on the top. Rekkles did, that is.
Yeah, basically just trading. Kind of the only thing Elements can do. You can't really sit back and try and wave play. You only got the ulti from Rekkles to kind of hold off these waves here. Kassadin doesn't offer a whole lot. Maokai obviously, yeah, he's going to throw a sapling and then what? So trying to trade a tower here is not bad from Elements. The problem is they're already given up 4 towers now, falling quite far behind in gold. And Gambit doesn't really have any reason to stop, as nobody's tanky enough yet from Elements to engage.
You can see a large amount of backs here from Elements too. So looks like it will be Diamond and Edward moving back into the jungle. Diamond has just been so tenaciously moving through this jungle and trying to deny Shook and just trying to make sure they have the vision. Look at those wards on the bottom side. They've just got it lit up like a Christmas tree, and they're hoping for a present in the form of a playoff ticket after this one.
Game is making it very clear where they want to put their focus. Right now it's going to be the bottom side of the map. Eddie and Diamond might try and go for Wickd. They're pinging on him at least. Pinoy's here as well, but they got to lock him down.
Oh, they're going to look for it, but that was a quick flash. Wickd knows what he's doing, gets out of town. He did have to burn the Summoner, and he popped the Righteous Glory as well in the same moment. So we've got now Gambit 3-man strong in the bottom. You've got a couple more hanging around the side. Elements still trying to defend here, but they are going to be tracked, the movement of them all around. 30 seconds on the next Drake as well.
Gambit really showing how to push your lead here. You already got the first few towers. You have completely taken over the enemy jungle, so you can keep fast pushing here. Pinoy is already sitting with Diamond, getting quite a few hits on it, and as you said before, Dragon spawning in about 15 seconds time. Elements shouldn't get anywhere near that Dragon with all these wards from Gambit. and the control they do have in these lanes. As long as they keep pushing the mid lane as well, they will slowly but surely take down the towers. Now they're back towards the dragon. Froggen and Elements are nearby.
Do they want to contest this, though? That's a question.
Not really in a good position to do anything, though.
So quickly, and the sapling toss-in is just going to be a little bit too late. Would have been a long shot either way, but now Gambit grabbed themselves their first dragon. 18 minutes into the game is 2-1. The scoring kills been a little bit low on those, but Gambit, they're playing the objective game.
And Elements, all they're trying to do here is force Gambit away from their tower. So by moving them into the mid lane here, you buy a little bit of time at least to reset the side waves, or you would think so, because now Pinoy has shown himself in the bottom lane, back to pushing in. You still got some of those wards in the jungle. No real reason to stop from Gambit's side. Need to be a little bit careful though about fighting in here. A lot of AoE damage, or AoE CC, from the likes of a Sejuani and a Maokai.
Jungle fights could get hairy, but towers are what they're interested in right now. You know, he's going to get knocked up. True Shot Barrage comes in, clears a few minions, and a chunk out of Krepo's health bar. And they do take down another turret. 5-2 now in the lead for Gambit.
Such a well played early, or mid-game, I think we should say. It was fairly even leading up to like the 10-minute mark. We were in the lane, so nothing really happened before, and it was just fairly standard lane swap laning, freezing the waves at first, and then we just see Gambit turn on the power as soon as they hit that mid-game.
They turned on the power indeed. The question is, where are they going to go from here? They've got the gold lead. Let's see if they can convert that into the items they need to keep this one going. Baron's going to be available in the next 35 seconds or so, but I think it still might be a far cry. And with that, we're going to go back to the original audio, guys, and force Elements to play on their turf, on their terms. And Elements haven't been able to respond quickly enough. They're just giving up seeding objectives over. Yeah, they secured that early dragon, but once Gambit has turned on the steam, it's getting harder and harder for them to really grab anything back here, and Diamond especially hasn't been letting up and making it hard for Shook to even grab his own jungle.
Yeah, now only the mid tower standing still outside of the base of Elements. Can be the next option if Gambit groups 5 together. Obviously, you don't want Cabochard to sit with your team. Don't let him split push. You need that black shield to stop the hard engage from Elements, and if you can do that, I mean, that tower's going to go down as well. Froggen is still not strong enough to really fight. He's going to have to get a few kills in any kinds of engage.
And this is what we wondered about the Kassadin coming back in. Is it really strong enough to really make the difference? The later the game goes on, he's of course picked up the Aether Wisp. I think we might expect the Luden's Echo there.
I would be surprised, but then again, you do move around a lot. You just don't really spam enough. I guess, okay, with the new ulti, a lot lower cooldown in the late game, we could see it have some effect on the Kassadin.
He's got the pieces for it.
He does have the items for it, yeah, in this situation. Not the same kind of ability spam like as I can't see here.
Oh, the fight's going to start. What a big glacial prison. Gambit, this is the hard engage that Elements needed. However, can they make it out alive? Wicked certainly not going to. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Top laner for support. Never mind that. Down goes Shook. Gambit turned what looked like a horrible situation into a 2-for-1.
And that was close to the best engage possible for Elements, and still losing out here because they've fallen so far behind. And now look at this tower. It's getting melted. Nothing they can do. Elements really getting punished for picking such a slow composition by Gambit here. All outer turrets gone. Next target, I mean, you don't even care about going towards the base. You can still do it because you can take down these towers so fast. You don't really have to come to bait out, let's say, a Baron, because then you got to fight out in the open and you don't have the pressure of your tower pushing abilities. But Gambit really very far ahead in gold at this point, been playing it super safe, but super well.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the most tense moment of the game for them so far, and they made it out quite well. They kept their heads cool despite the fact that there was just a massive Sejuani ult hitting 3 of them. See Froggen taking a huge chunk of damage again from the True Shot Barrage. There's just so much presence, so much poke from this side of Gambit that Element's getting very flustered here. Froggen takes even more, has to Rift Walk. He's still got a decent enough range to get out of the way, but Gambit own this side of the map, that's for sure, and the wards are there to prove it.
Sitting up towards the Baron itself. Want to try and force Elements into a bad team fight. Obviously, if they never really show up, this Baron will go down against double AD carries, especially the Fed Jinx.
Being in the dark.
Elements at this point here, they're moving towards it, they're pinging, but Froggen, he's very far away.
Yeah, this could take some serious time, and I don't think they've got it.
No,
this
they
Baron
got it.
is going oh so low, it gets smited away by Diamondprox. And now Gambit cleanly able to take that one. It's going to be revealed in just a moment, but it does not even matter.
No,
Elements.
And while Gambit didn't have the comp come to bait out that Baron. They surely have to come to just take it for free if Elements is so far away and not reacting at all. And this is gonna mean another push. You know, got the buffed up minions. Time is running out for Elements here. It is not looking great. And if this inhibitor goes down, Gambit has full control of the game.
Be a very early one. Here comes Shook. Oh, he's going to hit Eddie up, but now there could be some trouble for him and Diamond. But Krepo already very low in this. They take down Edward. Twisted advance. Wickd coming in onto Betsy. Exhaust is down. Wickd, though, they might give him up for dead. Here we go. The rocket coming in. It hits Froggen on the back, but it won't be enough to take him down. Elements blinking low. Wickd finally getting cleaned up. The rest of them have to back to base. That means this inhibitor tower is at least is going to go down. I think the inhibitor is going to follow the
Deficio. For sure, Pyro, for sure. Another team fight in favor of Gambit. Yes, they trade 1-for-1, but that was the support dying for Gambit. Still using that Baron so well. Showing a new way of really closing out games. It's been a problem for Gambit in the past, knowing how really to push that advantage, but clearly they know exactly how to play this comp here and how to punish Elements.
Well, they had a very, very specific plan in mind, and they certainly have executed it so far. Turn up the steam, never let go, and snowball your way ahead. 5 seconds on the next Drake. They've got the vision control on that side. Meanwhile, Elements trying to make something happen in the middle, but Krepo might have checked a little too far forward. His shield will keep too much damage away from him, but still, there's the fight going to start. Betsy has to arcane shift over. Diamond going to hop, and now Elements suddenly have control of this side. True Shot Barrage, however, is going to make Rekkles think twice about trying to finish this off, or is it? They get the mid tower. However, they already have lost an inhibitor in there, so that's a bit of a consolation prize.
Getting the taste of what a Kassadin can still do if he gets onto these AD carries. This dragon should be free for Elements. Securing that one. So open inhibitor in the mid lane. Bottom lane and top lane, the next 2 goals for Gambit, but they still gotta respect that possible engage. It's not over yet, despite Gambit being so far ahead and playing the game so well.
And again, Elements, they're always playing for the late game. They definitely want this one. They may be down a serious amount of gold and a few towers, not to mention an inhibitor, but they do have a dragon advantage right now, so there are some silver linings to this game, and the longer it goes, should be in Elements' favor.
Oh yeah, but will we ever get to that point?
That is the question.
Gets down another inhibitor. I think it's fairly safe to say they're gonna win the game. And they still have this Jinx who can just melt your towers. Elements are going to be forced into another engage. Cabochard down to about 50% mana, so he won't really be able to have a prolonged team fight. That could be an opening for Elements.
Yeah. Question is, can they win these fights? I mean, there's so much of an item advantage, or at least a gold advantage. Hopefully that translates on the side of Gambit. Now they're starting to push down in here on the top side inhibitor turret. The shield's already been burned through. Here comes the Howling Gale. Is that going to be enough to move him away? The hook, long range onto Froggen as he is able to rift step his way out of relative danger, but they're right back at it again. I mean, with this double AD carry comp, there's so much damage. The Tormented Soil as well. They're a minion clearing machine on the side of Gambit.
And you got the Black Shield to allow Jinx a few hits. What Elements can try to do if there's a Black Shield on Pinoy, he feels safe. Kassadin jumps in and breaks it, and then you have the engage from the Maokai. Otherwise, this tower is gonna go down. Wickd has been hooked in.
Yep, there's the calling out there, but is it gonna be too late for Wickd? He twisted, advances on in, but Betsy is gonna be the one that takes him out. Cabochard, a huge chunk taken out. A double kill out, goes over to Betsy as Diamond hops and skips and hops back out as he picks up Krepo. 3 kills just like that, and they're on to the inhibitor turret. Inhibitor turret's already gone. Inhibitor number 2 is soon to follow, and Gambit's not backing out.
No, they're not. They have no reason to. They want to try and finish the game right here, right now.
It looks like it. Well, we've had some early games this week so far, Deficio, but this one is going to be pretty close to that 26-minute we had yesterday if it finishes up right here, right now, and it looks like that's going to be it. Gambit Gaming have taken down Elements, and they punched their tickets to the spring playoffs.
And now we can hand it over. What a game, what a game.
Definitely what a game.
Full control, honestly. Passive lanes, or at least passive mid laner and top laner in this case here from Elements. Really that Kassadin pick got punished in there by Betsy, or well, by Gambit coming in taking the tower. Obviously the top lane, we saw the lane swap, it kept going simply by being AD carry against the Maokai. It looked good for Elements in the start, but then suddenly Gambit just turned around and said, you know what, now it's time to take down these towers here. And while Wickd got a lot of XP alone, simply wasn't enough because these towers started dropping. That's where Elements didn't have any response.
And this is just the way that you can beat Elements time and time again. They want the late game. They want the scale up. You don't give it to them any day of the week. You did see a few of the insurance policies coming in. You had the Rod of Ages, of course, completed by Diamond, but he still had some serious damage ramping up.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the main threat. I mean, Betsy just got pretty massive. They were clearing out. They weren't even trying to fight. It just managed to knock them down quick enough.
And that was impressive thing here from Gambit. They showed they know how to close out a game, especially with a comp like this. They made all the right moves from the mid game towards the 26-minute mark where the game was over, basically. Such a well-played game and really no response from Elements. I think they're going to look at that pick and ban phase and say, okay, did we like wave clear? It was the thing we didn't touch on in the pick and ban phase, but if you look at Elements' composition here, culling from Lucian is the only wave clear you got. I mean, Kassadin is never going to get in to clear these waves here. So as soon as Gambit started pushing, well, there was nothing to stop them from taking towers.
Yeah, there was nothing at all. They got all that global gold. They just steamrolled on forward. And Elements, they've got a lot to think about. But for now, that's going to do it for us. We're going to toss it back over.